My passion is really around connecting people with resources that can support them. So many people feel alone, they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed of where their life has gone and, where to start. Like, who can I reach out to? Where are the resources, or do I just give up? And so it's really important to me to help people know that A, they aren't alone, and B, there's a lot of people who do deeply care and want to help.
Hello and welcome to Coffee Connections podcast. My name is Cindy Chase. There's a lot of divorce happening these days, and there's a lot of emotional stress and things to deal with when you're going through a divorce. I would have to say that, is it 50% of marriages end in divorce? I'm not even sure if those statistics are taking into consideration common law marriage, but today's guest, her name is Dina Court, and her business is called You Glow Girl, and she's got Life Changes Channel podcast and Life Changes and Divorce Magazine Canada. She's a publisher, podcaster, author, and advocate. And she draws from her personal journey to passionately empower others. Have you subscribed to our newsletter yet? There's a link in the description below this video to the newest and most recent newsletter. You'll find articles from some of our tribe members who are just basically guests that have been on our show. And once you become a guest, you become a tribe member. You also get a directory profile on our website. Go to www.coffeeconnectionspodcast.com and you'll see the CCP directory link. And if you click on there, you'll see a list of all of the past guests that we've had on our show, starting with the most recent. Hello and welcome to Coffee Connections podcast. My name is Cindy Chase and I'm so happy that you're with us again today. I have another very special guest. She's new to me as well, so we will get to know her at the same time. Her name is Dina Court. Welcome, Dina.
Thanks, Cindy. I'm so grateful for the invitation and really excited to meet you as well.
Tell us a little bit about your business and what drives you to be so passionate about what you do?
My passion is really around connecting people with resources that can support them. So many people feel alone, they feel embarrassed, they feel ashamed of where their life has gone and, where to start. Like, who can I reach out to? Where are the resources, or do I just give up? And so it's really important to me to help people know that A, they aren't alone, and B, there's a lot of people who do deeply care and want to help. So don't be afraid to ask us or let us know. And what I do is create multimedia platforms for those connections to happen. And I just love it. It helps the creative side of me find an expression, but it's also creating impact and support for others. And it is, like you mentioned, around life changes. A magazine, a podcast, talk show. The website has lots, the blog, supportive events, social media. There's so many different ways people can find and connect with these resources or share them with somebody that they would like to help.
Right. And so what are these people going through that could benefit from your services and your experience, right? Life experience.
Well, any life change, really. The major life changes, including divorce. This all started around the topic of divorce. And Divorce Magazine Canada is something that I bought actually from a lady who had started it. And 2 years ago, I'm just going into the third year.
Well,
what I noticed was so many of the people that I talked to on my podcast or had in the magazine could help people regardless of whether they were experiencing or affected by a divorce. And so I started a second magazine called Life Changes. And that way it might be education, career, loss, grief, health, real estate, finance, all of those things. And we go through some major things during our life. And a lot of times there is a divorce involved, but it isn't always that. Parenting is a big thing too, and co-parenting. And so what I did is I had the two magazines. I took them digital, so they are very much more accessible, easy to share, and it's really interactive. That way people can follow a link or listen to a video that's all linked on these digital platforms. What I did this spring is merge the two as Life Changes and Divorce. So those are the types of life changes that I connect people with information. I want to empower them by offering this information, and the experts share it and want them to know what is available to help them. And really, it comes back down to that empowerment part. And yes, I do have a background of lots of life experience with many of these topics as well.
Right. So I had a look at the magazine. I went to your website. Yeah, lots of very good information, lots of resources like contributors in many different fields. So that's when I saw that you are also a connector. I mean, you don't have to know everything about everything. You just need to know people that have the answers or can get the answers, right?
Exactly. And people, not to be afraid to ask. If you feel stuck somewhere, don't be embarrassed. Don't feel like you're alone and you've been a failure in some way, because there are answers, and I love connecting them. The other thing that's super cool is the stories that people are willing to share from their experience, and they want to say, hey, look, I've been there. This is what happened to me, and there's hope.
Right. That's what this podcast, my goal for this podcast is for entrepreneurs, and it doesn't even have to be an entrepreneur, just basically a survivor and an overcomer, to share their experience, to give hope to the viewer, not to give up. You know, we can't see what's ahead of us. We only see what's around us and the obstacles. We can see what's behind us, but a lot of us are too quick to give up and say, oh, it won't work, it's never going to happen. But when you have your community and the experts that can say, oh, that's nothing, you'll get through that, look what you've been through already, right? And encouragement and a support system.
It's great that you're offering that as well, Cindy. That's your mission, because you can't have too much of that. It's something that really means a lot to me, and I speak about this quite often, is things are not always as they appear, and everyone has a story. So please, can we use curiosity and compassion to see these people that are out there? What has organically also happened because of my association of my work with divorce and separation is around domestic abuse, domestic violence, and the opportunity now to bring more awareness to the epidemic that's happening, literally an epidemic, and help educate people and bring awareness that it's not always a physical violence, and it still is a violence, even legally in the definition. So to help people understand that, it's amazing. And now not only build that awareness around what it is and how pervasive it is in our society, but connect, again, that connection in this community with the resources that can support others. Because I've had people come up to me quite concerned about a family member or a friend that has now been, say, isolated or is afraid for their safety, and they don't know how to help them. And just to be able to have those resources has been very rewarding as well.
As you're talking, I'm thinking, you know, somebody that is, so say I have a friend that is going through something, but they're in fear for their safety, and, you know, they're in fear to do anything, to retaliate or to leave. But I know that there are resources, say your community, right? Is there something that you have that You can say that I can say to my friend, hey, let's go on this Zoom call. We're going to be discussing this, and it's, the topic is not domestic abuse. The topic is something more inviting and less intimidating. You know what I'm getting at? Is that something that you have already, or something that you might see would be a benefit to getting somebody to take part and do something about it?
There's a couple things that come to mind, Cindy, and I'm happy that you asked that. It is definitely a gap that I would be interested in filling, to find a way to make that. So I've written some books and published some books, and some of them are around manifesting and mindset and women's empowerment. Men have read the book and find it just as inspirational, which I find amazing, because it's very much written like to women. But what I have in there is some of the writing leans toward awareness of really taking a look at what are you living in, because many women, they are in those situations and it's become, something doesn't feel right, but they don't actually realize that it is abuse and that it is unsafe and unhealthy. So some of my writing is around that, and it doesn't appear that way if you just look at the book. It just looks like a fun manifesting mindset book. Right. And some of my blogs lean that way, but I do offer an online support group, but it is called Hope in Hell. And that is a women's support group around abuse, and women can come on Zoom, and we just, let them know what's out there for resources, support them in whatever way we can. I'm also collecting stories of victors over violence and publishing a book called Hope in Hell, and the proceeds will go back to support those organizations who support women and families affected by violence. There is a need for this, and so much of what I do, like I was going to put even more in the books that I had, and I didn't want to jeopardize anyone's safety. So I wanted to dig even more. It looks just like a fluff, like I say, a book to help, and it shouldn't be a safety risk. But I also thought, if that's in there, still someone might flip through and happen to see, what's this? Something that it's not exactly what you're asking, but something I encourage people to do is, say, for instance, the Today Center in Edmonton that supports families around this. Can a person have a pen, some Post-it notes? They have these types of things. Have those in your purse with you, have them in your car. And it's a safer way to give someone that information that isn't going to jeopardize their safety. Like, oh, I don't know where this pen came from, or I don't know, this person handed me a Post-it with this, it just has their phone number, whatever it might be. Right. And it seems less tricky that way to get that to them, but then they have that resource. So there is definitely a need for a way to reach people and help them without them jeopardizing. The other thing you'll notice on a lot of these resources websites is a safe exit button. And that means it will, if you need to quickly exit this information that you're accessing, it also doesn't list it in your history. So anyone who... Really? If they're in an abusive situation, that's my understanding of it. If you're in a situation where they're probably going through your things, that you might have an AirTag in your vehicle, they're really...
Phone history, your text,
like
Wow. So what have you got going on for events coming up?
There's a variety of things that I've been doing. I co-host a mastermind mixer, and that is around, it's peer-to-peer entrepreneurs brainstorming and inspiring each other and saying, hey, I could connect you with this person. So it's networking and also brainstorming ideas, and everybody gets a turn. You mention a vision and a goal and say, what are some steps that you know of, or who should I talk to move closer to this vision and this goal. So it's really phenomenal. And we've done some of those in person. We're probably going to be doing some even bigger in-person ones this year, at least once, maybe twice or three times. And those are Edmonton, Calgary, and Red Deer. Okay. And I also host the online talk show, which we welcome guests to participate in that. And that's really fun. It's called the Shift Happens Show. So
I was listening to that as well. I do my research.
Good job, Cindy. We talk about shifts that we've experienced. How can we have a different perspective, maybe add some humor, or shifts we would like to create in the world, and what can we do with that? There's also the online support groups. They come up occasionally where we have presenters that talk about something specific. It might be about real estate, finance, parenting, men's health, relationship, mediation, whatever it might be. And so watch for those. Those are always on our events page on the website, and I usually have them in LinkedIn and Facebook events as well, linked to my pages. So we welcome people to come to those and bring your questions, meet the experts. And then the newsletter as well goes out the other 8 months where there isn't a new magazine. So the magazines are 4 times. And in there's columns. In there's announcements. There's more, events, and they're all linked. So it's really easy for people to just pop on and register for those.
Nice.
We just launched, actually, with the spring magazine, and merging them, we also launched a subscription model and a membership site. So in the membership area, people can get free tickets to these events as well. They're already really cheap, but it's like $20, 24, like something like that, like just depending on the event, how long it is.
Right.
But they also would get free tickets to the event in that membership area. So something to think about.
Yeah, exactly. And how often do you have events? Like every 2 months or every 3 months, maybe?
We're just getting our schedule put together for the spring now for the rest of the year.
Right.
In the past, I've had them every 2 weeks. And we
wow.
just found that was a lot. Like people were getting zoomed out, and it's a lot.
Hey.
So that, and it was amazing. People come in and they participate, they support each other, they bring their questions and talk to the experts as well as support each other. And a lot of times they'll have ideas. People will be at different stages of a life change.
Right.
And they can really relate and say, oh man, I was there too. And it's men and women.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I was there too, sending hugs to you. Maybe this is something that you want to consider, or this is what I experienced with my child, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's encouraging.
Yeah. I bet as they're, the people that go to these events on a regular basis, whenever something happens in their life, they probably think, oh, I can't wait to share it with the group.
Yeah, we love to celebrate with people too, and just, we don't want to get all down in the weeds of all the legal issues that they're facing, but we can definitely point them in the right direction or give them some options. Hey, we know this person, or we've got this person on our team, or have you considered, trying this?
That's awesome. Yeah. How big is your team now, and how does somebody get on your team? How do you vet them?
Well, we do really want to have the right kind of community where people know they're credible, they're caring, they're trustworthy. And there's a lot. We've got, past advertisers that have offered tons of informative and empowering information. I haven't counted lately, Cindy. That's a great question.
Yeah.
At least 24, at least,
Wow.
if not more. Like I'm trying to picture my team page and all the associates, and
Yeah.
There was probably at least 24. There's a whole list, 2 columns. Yeah.
there's and that's just the ones in the current magazine, and then there's all the others that have contributed in the past, and they're part of that referral base. What we really want is people who do have that, their values are to serve and support and encourage, and do so without judgment. So many people, if we want to just say divorce, the first thing they think of is, I got to get a lawyer, and I want a real tough one, and it's just going to go for the throat and stuff like this. And that isn't necessarily where people should start.
No.
One thing I hear over and over and over is, I wish I'd have known about this resource when I was going through a divorce or one of these life changes, because the route they chose, often I'm hearing how expensive, how time consuming, and how stressful.
Right.
And now they're learning there's other approaches. There's divorce coaches, there's mediation, there's self-representation. That's just
I did
a
that.
option. Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That's so amazing, Cindy.
I just did this do-it-yourself through the government, like just downloaded paperwork and followed instructions, and yeah. So it was like under $500 to get a divorce, and I didn't want anything from him, and so just to start over, right?
That's a great option, and people don't always realize that they can even initiate the process that way, and it's more amicable because you're cooperative and you both realize it's over.
There's nothing there. Yeah.
And it sets a tone for the future, especially if there's children involved.
Yeah, there weren't, which was good, but yeah, exactly. And I think it took maybe 6 months at the most.
That's good. Those are good stories to hear. That's encouraging for people to know that it doesn't always have to be so painful. And
exactly. Where did you grow up?
I grew up on the Montana border on a ranch, just in southern Saskatchewan.
Oh,
So
wow.
pretty isolated and small town. And I grew up, my first jobs were breaking horses and, training horses, it's called.
Wow.
And babysitting. And I like to say that there's actually a lot of similarities between the two. You learn patience and negotiation skills and handling things that are sometimes a little bit wild and crazy. So
Wow.
that was my life. I grew up the oldest of 4. I had 3 younger brothers. 2 have passed as young men. And so I have experienced some significant loss in that way, and just went from there to, into that relationship. It was a marriage. I usually call it a situation now. and then ended up in Alberta about 12 or 15 years ago and really love it here. So that's a bit of the journey that I've been on.
Well, do you have animals now?
No animals right now. We want a dog, or at least one at some point. So that's amazing. And my life partner comes from, he's a country boy too, with the Western life background, which I absolutely love. I gained 2 amazing teenage daughters by welcoming him into my life.
Wow.
And I have 2 grown children and 2 grandchildren as well.
Wow.
You don't look old enough to have any grandchildren, Dina. Do you have anything you want to share with the viewers?
Yes, I welcome them to reach out and check the there's 2 ways to get it. All goes to the same website, lifechangesmag.com or divorcemagazinecanada.com, and it goes to the same place. Right on that page, there's a welcome video from me. You'll find links to the podcast, YouTube channel. There's also a quiz on there about abuse. Is this abuse? Because many people are confused. They feel something's off, but they don't know. It feels like a leap for them to label it abuse and actually accept that that's what they're either observing in somebody's life they care about or in their own life. So I encourage them to check that out, flip through the magazine, consider sign up for the newsletter, become a member in our membership space, or if you are an expert who helps people, and it sounds from what you've heard in this conversation, like you would want to be part of this community and help people and be connected to other referral partners, because this whole community, you get to know the others in there that can also help your clients in different ways. Or if there's somebody that you care about that you think this information would encourage them, it's a way to help when you feel helpless and to say, I care about you, maybe this would be helpful. And if it doesn't relate to what you're currently experiencing, at least you know I care, and maybe this is something that can help. So I really encourage people to do that. And podcasts are something you can do when you're multitasking. I listen when I'm driving, walking, and it's, baking, making dinner, whatever it is. You can have that playing and still hear the information, meet some of these interesting people who have shared their stories of their journey. So I just encourage people to dig in and explore and see what there is. And if you're curious, I also have dinacourt.com, and I have a blog there and more of my own personal journey there. And I also invite people, if they have a story as a victor over violence that they would be willing to share, we would love to hear from you. I've shared some in the magazine, and I'm also collecting, so once I have enough, we'll publish this book.
Nice. Anonymously?
Yes.
So
you can be anonymous or not. It's entirely up to you.
Right.
And I believe the book is going to be 100% anonymous, just because I don't want to jeopardize anyone's safety. People know whether
Absolutely.
it would or not, but that way it's consistent in the book. In
Right.
the magazine, again, it can be anonymous, or if you would like to share your name, you're more than welcome to.
Right.
And some of these people are activists, they're advocates, and they do want their name known so that others can connect and we can team up and
Right.
make a bigger impact. But it's
Yeah.
definitely not expected. You don't have to be a professional writer. If
Right.
you even want to send us a voice memo, just get on your phone and send that. We can transcribe it with our AI tools and turn it into an article.
That's fantastic. Well, I'm so impressed with what you do and why you do it.
Thanks, Cindy.
Okay. Take care.
See you, Dina. Thank you.
See you.
Bye. Hey, can you do me a favor? Just hit that like button or subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to our channel. That would tell YouTube that it's worth watching and worth shooting out to more people. We've got some guests lined up. Let's see, I know we have a country singer that I'm going to be interviewing in a couple of weeks, and he's going to share some of his music with us, so stay tuned for that. If you know anybody that has a great story to tell, something that they've overcome in whether it's their personal life or their professional life, whether they're an entrepreneur, we would love to hear from them. You can send them to our coffeeconnectionspodcast.com website, and there's a wait list. They can get their name on our wait list by filling out the form and giving us their contact information and a little bit of information about what they do, what they've done, what they've overcome, and then I'll reach out to them with some dates and schedule a video interview, whether it's in person or whether it's online. They have that choice as well. If you want to have a slider ad in our video, like this one, or like this one, like that one, there's a link in the description below this video. I guess that's it, you guys. If there's any topics that you would like us to discuss or to research, or any guests that you would like to learn more about, let me know. You can email at info@coffeeconnectionspodcast.com. I'll put the link to our website and our email in the description below this video. If you want to be a guest, the link will be there to fill out that form. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, the link will be there for that form. And yeah, so I just want to say thank you to Dina Court for taking the time to sit with me and tell me a little bit about what it is that she does and why she does it, helping people go through life's changes and providing resources and connecting people so that they're not going through life's difficulties alone. So thank you, Dina. I appreciate you very much. I look forward to meeting you very soon. Thanks, you guys. Have a great day. Bye.